Beautiful.
Oh, that's great, mate.
Mate, bring back more.
Woohoo!
You know, we're very fortunate in New Zealand to have such wonderful fishing opportunities all up and down the coastline. And like my young grandson here, I was passionate about fishing right from a very early age. And I have lots of people who come into my store because I've been in the tackle industry for a long period of time, and they want to get their children into fishing. So we thought we'd make a video to help you catch fish right from the outset. So many people are disappointed because they don't get some of the little basics right. So what we want to do is give you a whole pile of tips so you can have fun and future generations can enjoy what we have here in New Zealand. Now, from my experience, there are several essential ingredients to get the best out of your fishing day when you're with the young ones. First of all, get yourself a nice jetty or somewhere where you can get into some reasonably deep water. Don't worry too much about casting. You're much better off to be dropping things over the side than you are to try and cast out a long way and hope that the fish will turn up. But you know, the great secret to catching fish is to have plenty of them there. And that's why we need to have this. The very secret ingredient, well worth the money and well worth using, because this is ground up, in this case shellfish and kina, and what we do is we stick that into one of these, which is called a burly pot, and this burly really attracts all the fish from the surrounding area right to your spot. Now that's got to be a great start. I see so many people with just a tiny little bait hoping that they're going to bring the fish in. Well, that's hopeful, isn't it? Rather fish with a crowd. The other thing that I think is really easy to use are these are called sabikis, and that's a little sinker on the end, and these little tiny flies here are all very attractive for catching fish. Now remember, it's easy to catch a big fish on a small hook, but I haven't seen many small fish caught on big hooks. And remember, kids just want to catch fish. They don't care if it's this long. It's really the adults that want the really big ones. There's a lot more fish that are small, and it keeps their interest up. Use small hooks. You can use just standard hooks if you want to, but really you're better off, I think, using these sabiki rigs, and I'm going to show you how to put them together. Now, I don't want to make this too complicated, but what I like to do with those sabiki flies is add on some sort of bait. Now, there's all sorts of things you can use. You can go out and get some shellfish off the rocks and cut them up, or you can get some fish bait from your local store, but I found this stuff really good. This is a Berkeley product. This is Gulp, and it's available in all sorts of different colors and all sorts of different styles. But the great thing about it, it doesn't rot, it doesn't smell, it's easy to use, and the fish love it. This particular brew is what we call Gulp maggots. Now, they're not really maggots, so you can eat them if you want to, but not the same that you should. But you can use those and have great results by putting them on as an extra flavour on our sabikis. We put our burly bomb in this thing, which is the burly snifter or the burly cage, and at the bottom I've got a couple of really heavy weights. I'm going to tie a rope onto the top, and we're going to start off by attracting the fish to where we are. Now, many of you will have one of these, a kiddie's rod, which you can purchase from any number of stores, and it's pretty basic. We've got a rod, we've got a reel, and we've got some line. And what we're going to do is show you how to thread this up in order to get the best results out of it. So it's pretty straightforward, just don't miss an eye. There we go, we're ready to go. So I'm going to open this up. Now, you've got to be very careful when you're working with sabikis, because those tiny little hooks that I'm starting to unravel from this card that they come on are very sharp. So you want to make sure that you educate children as a good OSH warning to keep their fingers away from it. In fact, on many occasions, especially with a younger child like William here, I will be using fewer hooks that are actually on the whole rig. So they come with about 5 or 6, most of them, and I'm going to get it down to 3 because it's just more manageable. So we're now going to tie something on the end of here so that we can attach that very easily. And I'm going to tie on what's called a surgeon's loop, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to show you the knot to do on the end of the main line that's come from our rod and reel set. Okay? And because you can't see nylon, we're going to do this in some thicker rope. So if you imagine that you've got your nylon from the end of the kit, what we do is fold it over like so, And then it's very simple. What we want to do is basically form a loop. So I've just pushed that through the once, but of course it won't lock in nylon with one, so I've got to go through a second time. And because obviously nylon is not as bulky as what we've got here, we then pull that up and we have a loop on the end of our line now. With scissors I'll chop that off, and then I can then hook into that with the hook that comes on the sabiki rig. The sabiki rig has a hook on it, and I can put it straight into that there as an attachment point. Whenever we work with nylon, we need to moisten before we pull up any knots to make them tight. If we don't, it'll burn the nylon and make it weaker. So get used to spitting on your knots. All ready to go. So these are very small hooks. They have a fluorescent bead which adds to the attractiveness, and this glinting bit on the end is really good for bringing fish in. They want to see what's happening to it, especially if it's moving around a little bit. To this we're going to add some of our bait. So I've got my maggot here, and it's actually a wee bit big, so I'm going to cut it in half with my fingernail. So we've got our maggot, and because it's burly gulp, it has a sort of a different smell. It doesn't smell like rotten fish, but it does have its own attractive smell. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to thread this onto the hook. So in a way, I'm just going to bring it out so that the point comes out the end like so. Now if the fish steal that bait, this will all go back to normal and it will still be able to be a useful attractant, and I will catch fish on that when there's quite a few around. So we're going to take out the burly, which comes with its own onion sack if you need to, so you can actually just use that if you wanted to. You don't need to use this full setup, but I think the full setup's better. Put that away, and all I do is just slice this down in a couple of places. It's still frozen, and that's going to be fine because it'll start to melt in the water and allow the smell to go around the place. I close it up, make sure I tie on the end. There's no point throwing it over the side without a rope on it. Down into the water. It doesn't need to be on the bottom, it can be mid-water and it'll be fine. But make sure you tie it to the wharf so you don't lose it. Now, to get more fish around, I jiggle it. I'm putting it up and down so that there's a nice slick of all sorts of bits of fish and oil going down the current. If you haven't got one of those burly sausages, you can use cat food, or you can get some bread or some fish guts or all sorts of things. You'd even get shellfish off the rocks and smash them up and put them in there, and they will help. So I've stirred up the burly pot and all around the area the fish will be coming, so I want to have it sort of down tied from where the burly is. No point in having the burly in one place and fishing where the smell isn't. It's got to be where the smell is. So you've got to work out which way it's all flowing, and it's quite simple. You just drop it over the side and we wait. Bites straight away. Look at this, bites straight away. Whoa! No need to worry about that. There's plenty here. Oopsie, need to tighten up the drag. There we go, there we go. Didn't take us long. Straight away. There's the first fish. Well, Grandad was doing the teaching and the trying out. Now it's William's turn. Now, William's pretty excited about the fact that we've got ourselves our first fish, and it must have been, what, 15 to 20 seconds from putting it down. It was pretty darn quick. And what we've got to do now is make sure that no fingers get caught on the hooks and that everything's under control. So one of the things I like to do, I like to look after this fish because we're going to actually send it back. It's a little small, great to catch, but of course it's the fun of the fishing that we like. And what we want to do is make sure we hold this end and separate the other away. So if there's adults around, it's a good idea to give them one end, and then we'll take hold of the other, and handling the fish nice and gently. Whoa! To take the hook out, and we're just going to throw them back into the water. Oh, not really the best for it. We're going to throw them back into the water. Here we go. You want to hold that hand up. I'll show you. That hand up. Like that. Okay. And wind the handle.
Oh, is it heavy?
Keep winding. Woohoo! Just over here, over here, over here. Can you feel that jiggling? Keep winding.
Keep winding, Will.
Keep winding.
What you got?
What's that? Should we bring it over? Here we go. Grandad, help. Look,
Yeah!
look this way. Look, what's that?
Is it fun? Good job. Give me a smile. Yay! That's called a herring, William. Take the hook
Put it in your
out.
hand. You've got to hang on to it with both hands.
A wee bit slimy.
He's a wee bit flappy. We'll let him go, eh? Should we let him go? We'll let him swim. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Do you want to come and have a look? Over the side? Here it goes. Whee! Ah. Time for a spotty.
Not a spotty.
Got to watch out with spotties. They've got very spiky backs on them, and you can prick your hand. So you've got to make sure you hold them very easily. Now, I brought along something specially for spotties. I'm going to show you what it is. If you have one of these, it's easier on your own hand. And the other thing I like to do, is to take out just with some pliers, because pliers make it easier to take it off. There we go. And that way we can let the fish go back unharmed. Best if the towel's wet. In this case it isn't. Why are they here? Because of the burly. So I've got one. Woo! The burly trail starting to work now. Look at this. We've got two. Herring, spot. What the fuck?
Woohoo! That was great.
Let's swing them over. So the action is just absolutely electric, isn't it? Every time it goes down
Every time.
there, within 10 seconds, you're catching fish.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But that's not everyone's experience on that wharf.
It's the burly, man.
It's the burly makes such a difference, yeah.
It's like when I was a kid, Dad used to take us out and we would be the only ones catching them on the wharf. And we'd be just like, every time you put your rod on, you'd be getting something new up. It was so exciting. And so we wanted to share this with everybody just so you can have as much fun as I did when I was a kid. It's got a good one.
Look at that. Another one bites the dust. Now there's several things that help us to catch more fish. One of them is to make sure that when you drop it to the bottom, that you keep the line taut. If you don't keep the line taut, you can't tell you're getting bites. Now right now, I've got it out there, and I've got that so that it's just off the bottom. I can feel the weight of the sinker on the bottom, and I can feel the fish biting. If it had a big curve in it, couldn't feel anything. Wouldn't know what was happening. And you're far more likely then to get the fish swallow it right down, which is more harmful for the fish if you want to let it go. So if possible, just those little things like keeping that in a good frame, making sure that there's not too much noise around. We've just actually had a few people come down to party, and I understand that. but the fishing goes off when the party starts. We just take it right up.
Well done, man.
Now we'll bring it over, just quietly over the top now, buddy. Just quietly, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Hawks in all directions.
I was trying to get you, Mum.
That's amazing.
Hold on, mate, you got yourself one.
That's actually
There we go, mate.
this time, really.
Got a spotty. That's it, that's far enough. Now we'll swing her over. Good old fashioned spotty, mate.
Awesome,
Yeah, there you go, mate. Well done. We're just sorry about that. I'll just get down and take the hook out. There we go.
Well done. Woo.
Well done, mate. Oh,
That's easy.
That's a decent thing. He got off. Quite wiggly, isn't he? There you go. Yeah. Now, for all the things that you see on this video, we have those sorts of things in store. So we're going to make a pack that you can buy that'll have everything that you need. And just go to our website, www.completeangler.co.nz, and we'll have it there for you. You can buy it individually or as a group. We want you to catch more fish and have some of the fun that we've had today.